Alright, y'all, trial day 6, and OTF Jam was back on the stand, and today he was being cross-examined by Brian Still again. And like I told y'all in the previous video, yes, Brian Still is a hell of a lawyer, but Jam isn't no Woody, and Woody isn't no Jam. Many people were saying that Brian Still was gonna tear OTF Jam up like he did YSL Woody, and judging from people who have attended court, Jam have been holding his own on that stand. And I know that sounds crazy, but y'all get what I mean. Now, Jam is a little more swift. His responses were just as hard-hitting as Brian Still was with his questions, and a lot of times when you're in that courtroom, it could be a nervous feeling even when you're telling the truth. You can be completely honest, but the sake of just being in court period, you can appear like you're lying when the whole time you're not. It's a feeling you can't explain, but either Jam is just a pro at being on the stand or he was built for it. Now, we're not going to focus solely on a cross-examination today because there weren't really much wow factors involved, to be truthful. But we are going to get into a few key parts where OTF Jam has revealed a lot when it comes to the behind-the-scenes stuff and individuals not sliding for Vaughn. Now, during his testimony, Jam will reveal that OTF and O-Block were actually into it with each other about people not sliding for Vaughn. Mother Duke's name was mentioned by Jam as well, and I'm going to tell y'all why that's prevalent, but in fact, we're going to do a whole different video breaking that down because I feel it needs its own video due to it revealing a lot of things we kind of already knew, but you couldn't prove it. Jam will also reveal why he ended up flipping on Durk and OTF, which wasn't solely because he wanted a time reduction like we all figured, but he says that it was weighing on his conscience that they ended up unaliving Lul Pab and not Quando Rondo, and Pab wasn't even the intended target. It went as far as Jam claiming that he even FaceTimed Lil Durk to let him know how he felt, because he also says that he was kind of thrown out there to the sharks and wasn't told why he went to Los Angeles in the first place, and by the time he figured it out, it was way too late. Then to top it all off, he says that he felt Durk didn't care about him and put him around goofies who ultimately did a sloppy job on their head. Of course, this isn't a reason to tell on anybody, but as I listened to Traveler Raw's break down what happened in court and how Jam expressed how mad he was about the situation, it made me think. When you really think about it, Durk and Jam don't even really know each other, which is why he didn't have a problem doing what he did to Durk. I'll get more into that later on, but we're going to get into it, y'all. But before we do, make sure you hit that thumbs up button, hype the video so we can get into the algorithm, and if you not subscribed to the platform already, make sure you do so now. Let's get into it. Hold up, y'all. There's no way you're watching this video for free right now. You could be getting paid literally just for playing games while this video play in the background at the same time. Only difference is the increase in your bank account. Now, I'm not saying you'll get rich, but I am saying that you could easily make something while doing nothing except for sitting on the couch playing games if you download the app Free Cash. Tap or click the link I pinned in the comment section or scan the QR code that I put right here on the screen. Also, if you use my link right now, they give you a little something to start off with just for signing up. So if you want a little Uber Eats or something to snack on and don't feel like dipping into your own wallet, play a few games so you don't have to spend your own ends. Now let's get back to the video. Now let's get into Seti Nash and Traveler Ross explaining how everything first started. Many people thought it was great police work done by the feds, however, that wasn't the case. If it was never for Jam, it's looking like they probably would have got away with it, but he ended up getting caught with a firearm and decided to give up everything for a reduction of his time before I guess he even knew how much time he was actually gonna get, which is crazy, but I'll get more into it in a few. Y'all check this out.
To go viral, bro. It's about to go viral. So you got Jam, who basically told the whole entire thing. They basically got away with it, bro. They literally basically got away with it. Jam got pulled over, had a gun on him, and basically wrote a note. The note literally reads, I know about murders. I don't want to talk on camera. I know a lot. Then we ended before lunch with the damn lawyer saying, do you still got love for Lil Durk? He gonna say, yeah, I love Lil Durk. But, you know, what Lil Durk did was selfish. What Lil Durk did was basically put me in a situation with people I don't know, you know, with cats I don't even know. When we went and slid for Vaughn, I didn't even know Vaughn. If it had been like Booney Mo, then it wouldn't have been no problem and all that. And then he said he had no reason to do this. And he said he still got love for Durk. He was there for me, and I feel bad. And I know he hate me, but I still got love for Durk. Bro, how you love me, you know, but you just trying to throw me up under there. And here's what's crazy. He said he feels bad for sliding on Quando Rondo and all them. But it's some more to get into.
So we just got some crazy new information about how it went down when Jam got arrested and decided to start cooperating with the FBI. So apparently he was arrested in 2023 for something completely unrelated. He was pulled over in a car that apparently had a gun in it while he was still on parole from that attempted murder case that he just got out after serving 12 years on. And he basically said that at that point he decided to talk to the FBI. He wanted to get it off of his chest. The Lil Pab murder was weighing on him. He felt like Pab was an innocent man and that he'd been sent on a dummy mission with some goofies by Durk for selfish reasons. And he said he saw an opportunity to get out of the situation. What was very interesting is when he got arrested, he basically wrote a handwritten note to the FBI. So what he claimed is that he said that he was allowed to make a phone call. He said the official phone wasn't there, or it wasn't working. So they said, look, we'll let you make a supervised recorded call on your cell phone. But like, that's what we're going to have to do. We'll allow you that. So he made a call and then he told the cops, hey, can I have a bit of paper to write down a phone number? They said, sure. But he didn't write down a phone number. He wrote down a handwritten note which said this exactly. It just said, I know about murders. I don't want to talk on camera. I know a lot. So he gave that handwritten note to an arresting officer. That basically was then, worked its way up the chain to the FBI. And the prosecutors asked him, they said, why didn't you want to be on camera? Obviously, this is going to be a big controversial thing when it comes to Brian Steele. Obviously, he was absolutely clapping back. I believe it was yesterday, talking about why weren't all of these interviews recorded? You spoke to Jam 30, 40 times. You barely recorded any of those interviews. Well, this is kind of a slap in the face to Brian Steele because Jam said specifically, I don't want to be on no camera. And they said, why didn't you want to be on no camera? Now, this is crazy. All right. He said, well, I didn't want to be on camera because a lot of people have been getting exposed on their body cams doing embarrassing shit. They be getting exposed on social media for telling on the body cam, snitching, crying, which is obviously a reference to a very infamous Chicago video where, one of the shorties from over there was kind of apparently caught on a case and he was bawling out, crying to the cops. And there's been a lot of rumors about whether that case was connected to the Jam case, whether that kid that was crying in the body cam footage might have had a dirty gun that Jam had used in a different murder. So Jam made direct reference to that. As I would have said in my previous video, Jam made it clear. He said, look, he was mad at Lil Durk for putting him in that situation. Even though Durk did a lot for him, he basically said he's still mad at him. He put me in a situation with goofies. He didn't trust Vonnie. He didn't know why he'd been put in that situation with him. And basically that's why he decided to make that decision and speak to the FBI. Who knows what sort of time he's going to get? I mean, allegedly, not even allegedly, he has admitted to 3 murders and, allegedly there's more. So he definitely getting some serious years. I can't imagine them just letting him go. But they made it very clear. He's not been offered a deal. They've not promised him no time. He's not getting out of everything. He basically is leaving it in God's hands and cooperating. And he didn't say I cooperated to get out of time. He said, I felt bad about this. It was weighing on my heart and Pab was an innocent man. All right, so I'm here outside the courthouse. Not too many Free Durk fans out here. I don't know, maybe they was sleeping in today. No Free Durk fans that I can see. But basically, there was a very crazy update. And what ended up happening was basically OTF Jam was back on the stand for the whole first half of the day. He ended up saying some pretty crazy comments, especially at the end. So I'm going to start at the end and work backwards. But they basically asked Jam, they said, why did you choose to cooperate? What was your motivation for this? Why did you turn on Lil Durk? And he basically said, I was mad at Lil Durk for putting me in that situation and I'm still mad at him now. He said that Vonnie seemed like a goofy to me. I did something that I know I shouldn't have done, and the last time I did something with people that I didn't know, I did 12 years for it. I was doing this for Durk's selfish reasons, maybe Cuz and Dee Dee had a reason to do it. I didn't have no relationship with Von. I basically didn't know a whole bunch of these people that were sent on the hit. He basically said, I feel like Durk sent me on selfish bullshit. He said, I can't forget all the support that Durk gave me, especially when I was locked up. I can never forget that. I still got love for him. But he says, look, I know how it looks now, but I still got for him. Blood was there for me. I can't forget that, and I feel bad for telling, but at the same time, I still love him, but I don't respect him. He said that he could be killed for his testimony for cooperating, and then he also kind of pointed out a couple of things that really just motivated him, that why in this occasion did he decide to tell. He explained there were multiple reasons. He said he felt like the hit was done sloppy. It was done with people who shouldn't have been there. Obviously, he said that he thought Vonnie was a goofy, and he said there's a big difference between doing something to somebody that you don't like. But he said in this case, he felt like Lul Pab ain't have nothing to do with it. He said he felt like an innocent man got killed and it weighed heavily on him. He wanted to get it off his chest. He said he didn't think it was guaranteed that he would get caught, but he thought about it. He thought it was hot. He said, why do we go and do this in LA with all them rich people and actors around? He said that was a bad place to do a hit. So the prosecutors actually asked him, they said, look, you testified and you pled guilty for your role in the LA shooting as well as 2 other murders. You know, what are you hoping for from this? He said, well, I'm hoping for a reduction in my sentence, but he made it clear there's been no promises made. He's not getting out. I'm not going to lie to you. Jam having 3 bodies, he probably shouldn't be out here walking around straight after this. But he basically said he pled guilty with the 2 other murders. And, you know, he just basically wanted to get it all off his chest. And he said it was weighing heavily on me what happened to Lil Pab, and he saw an opportunity and he took it. So it was some pretty crazy testimony. That last part when they kind of broke, you know, he said it straight out of his mouth. He said, I still got love for Durk and I can't forget what he did for me, but he put me in a bad situation with some goofies. It was selfish and I'm not rocking with it. So that was pretty crazy, but there was a whole lot of other crazy testimony that Jam put across, and I'm going to tell you all about it in different videos. So stay tuned. I'll keep you guys updated on everything. And yeah, it's going to be a crazy day. I think he's going to be up there all day, maybe even into tomorrow.
Now, it's safe to say that at least Jam was right about not trusting Vonnie, but clearly they couldn't trust him neither. He didn't see that one up. Actually, I seen someone say that Jam is an abbreviation for Just Ask Me, the way he tell it, which is crazy. And I don't know what's in Chicago, but this happens a lot. Every time we turn around, we're seeing these guys getting arrested, and they always come back saying something like, I could tell you about bodies. I could tell you about this weapon. I have information on the body. It's like they get out of jail free card, and inevitably they end up giving information on these bodies. Now, these are just the people we know of because they are high profile, so it's exposed, or sometimes it's caught on body cam. But just think about the guys that do this that we don't know about, the ones that don't get exposed. So if you got someone close to you and you think they gang, swin, whatever y'all call yourselves, understand that it's a strong possibility that he or she could be talking to the people behind the scenes to get out of their own situation that you don't even know about. Speaking of all this, I still wonder to this day, how did THF Bezu know that OTF Jam was cooperating first? Pretty interesting. Now, to break down what Trapper Ross and Seti Nash were saying, basically they're saying that Jam cooperated because he felt he was being played by Durk. The hit was sloppy, and he was already having second guesses about the whole situation, but he was already in too deep. He feels that Lul Pab wasn't the target and was innocent, and he offered the information because it kept eating him up inside. Now, here's the confusing part for me though, because clearly he cooperated because he didn't want to get a bunch of time. We know that. But even if he was going to do time, how much time was he really going to get for a little firearm charge that he wasn't even using in the commission of a crime? So what's the most they was going to give him? But instead, he went, admitted to 3 bodies plus more, and testified against Durk. If you ask me, it's like he got himself more time by speaking on bodies when he could have just caught the gun charge and took that little time, right? Once again, even if it was going to be a lot of time, I can't see him getting more time for the gun charge than snitching on himself pertaining to 3 damn bodies. Unless it had bodies on it too, but nah, I still can't see it. Now, Trapper Ross spoke on the payment because everyone says Durk is being charged with M for hire, but no money was reportedly given out. Well, y'all know the feds is tricky because Jam admitted he didn't get back any money for the situation, but he did confirm the theory the feds laid out there before when they said Durk promises people a music career in a deal through OTF as a way to allegedly pay people for their crimes committed. Jam then went on to explain that he never rapped a day in his life, but if you notice, after the Quando hit, he put out a song that was then featured on the Loyal Bros project afterwards and was given $10,000. This will further confirm the music advances that Durk is accused of allegedly giving to people for carrying out these crimes in furtherance of OTF. Y'all check this out.
So a lot of the Durk fans have been saying there's no evidence, no one was ever paid, there's nothing, but it turns out apparently Durk might have actually finessed all of the hitmen, allegedly, out of any money. So we heard yesterday that there was a conversation in a studio where Durk basically said to a bunch of alleged OTF members, like, look, anybody that kills Quando or Lil Tim, you're gonna be straight. And somebody said, are we talking like half a ticket or $1 million? And Durk just said, hey, you're gonna be straight, you ain't gonna have to worry about nothing. So basically, apparently all these hitters that got involved in this hit went and did their thing. It sounds like nobody ever got paid. OTF Jam said he never got paid anything by Durk, even though he was definitely expecting something. As far as the murder, he says he was never paid anything. But what is interesting is that he said, all right, because Brian Steele was licking his lips thinking, oh, he didn't get paid, this is going to be lit. But then the feds basically said, but you were expecting something, right? Because that conversation in the studio, people talking about meal tickets and Durk saying you ain't going to have to worry about nothing. He was like, yeah. And then they said, Jam basically said, look, I was never a rapper. I'd never dropped a verse in my life. And then within a few months of the murder, I was recording my first song, the Federal Freestyle. I got paid $10K for that, and it was on the OTF Loyal Bros album, okay? I think it was Loyal Bros 2. Obviously, I've said before that this album is like the ultimate self-snitching album. It's basically got back-to-back confessions. Booney Mo got a song on there called They Know That We Did It, all right? So that's what was going on, okay? He got his 10K, but apparently everyone was getting finessed. Apparently, two of the other shooters that were there, they were basically on Vonnie's ass talking about when we're going to get paid at the In-N-Out, and apparently Vonnie gave him the slip. He basically put him on the phone with Durk and said, basically, they was asking, yo, Vonnie, are you going to straighten out the money? They got Durk on a FaceTime and he said, I got them. They're going to be straight. And then they left. So I don't know if Durk ever paid him anything after that. It sounds like Durk might have inferred that people was going to get $500,000 to $1 million for killing Quando. And then basically he just didn't give nobody nothing afterwards. Maybe he thought that was going to be slick. And like, oh, if I promise hitmen something and don't pay them, then are they going to be able to get me? I'm not sure that's really going to fly. But I'm sure if anybody is going to make that point well, it's going to be Brian Steele. But that was pretty interesting. I'm not going to lie. Jam getting 10K to appear on that project definitely was interesting. I thought they were going to play the Federal Freestyle. They didn't play it. They just showed it. They showed the cover art for Loyal Bros 2. And I ain't going to lie, the Loyal Bros 2 cover art was looking sus too. It's just 5 hooded, masked individuals. And you thinking, wait a minute, isn't that exactly what was sent to go and kill Lil Pab? So that wasn't really a great look either. I'm not sure if too many people picked up on that. But yeah, you know, this whole thing of the hitmen being paid, and obviously it wasn't mentioned, but even there was a lyric that was shown earlier. You know, Brian Steele lied and said it was Quando when it wasn't. It was another Savannah rapper. But that song where they said, oh, shout out Lil Tim, I mean King Tim, it wasn't Quando. Brian was wrong. But what they didn't draw attention to is elsewhere. He basically said, oh, I heard there's a meal ticket. And obviously the rumor was it was going around pretty much within weeks of Von's death that there was $1 million bounty on Quando's head. So arguably that's been proven to be true, but not many people have pointed that out yet. But anyway, that's my opinion. I'll be back with some more updates for you guys soon.
Now, one thing I don't see people doing is questioning the origin behind Durk and OTF Jam's friendship. Now, they mentioned that Jam stated he still have love for Durk, he just don't respect him, he feels bad, and everyone's asking how, right? If he's on the stand testifying, how could he even care for Durk or act like he does when he could possibly put this man in jail for the rest of his life? Well, two things. When your life's on the line and your freedom is at stake, you'd be surprised at how some of the toughest guys will act. Most people say what they would or wouldn't do in a situation, but it's easy to just talk until you're actually in that position. How can you say you loyal if your loyalty was never tested? Let me say that again. How can you say you're loyal if your loyalty's never been tested? Y'all think about that the next time you're around Twin, Gang, and whoever. Now, secondly, here's what people don't understand about Jam and Durk's relationship. Jam and Durk was never buddies like that. They didn't grow up and have that 10+ year relationship like Durk and the rest of them guys. Jam says he only knew of Durk for being a rapper that made music for kickbacks in Chicago. So that's one. And if you ask me, secondly, Durk played a psychological / manipulative Alpo and Wayne Perry move on OTF Jam. See, Jam was known for getting busy, right? Durk isn't known for getting busy, but he's known for having dudes that get busy around him that'll do anything for him. So remember when Alpo moved to DC and wanted to take over? What did he do? Him being as smart as he was and a manipulative person, he heard that Wayne Perry was this vicious man that everyone was afraid of. So in hindsight, nobody wanted Wayne Perry out because he was feared, and if he was on the streets, they'd have to worry about him, and they didn't want that. Alpo realizing that, he said, well, if I feed Wayne Perry in his lowest moments, if I pay his bail, get him out of jail, he'll forever be in debt to me and loyal to me because I looked out for him when nobody did. And that's exactly what happened. Alpo was able to take over DC so easily despite him being from New York because people knew that if they played with Poe, they'll have to answer to Wayne Perry. So they left him alone. Alpo admitted to purposely doing this, and when I think of the situation with Durk and Jam, I see the same exact thing. Durk knew of Jam's reputation and was feeding Jam. Remember during his testimony, Jam said when Durk switched his number while he was in jail, Durk made sure that his peoples got the new number. Now for a person who didn't really know him like that, Durk was sure extending his hand a lot to OTF Jam, going as far as basically taking care of him and setting him up financially, but why? As I always say, if you lead a relationship with money, that's all it'll be about, money. And this is why we're seeing exactly what we're seeing here. Their friendship was basically transactional and based off money, not loyalty, because they didn't even know each other like that. So to see Jam flip the way he's flipping now is not surprising if you ask me. If y'all remember, when Mimo did that interview and they asked him, do you think OTF Jam gonna snitch? He basically said no, because Jam wasn't out long enough to even have such a relationship with Durk to know their business like that. Or so he thought.
600 Breezy said on No Jumper that he didn't feel like Jam didn't even snitch.
No, I don't think that's facts. That's not facts. We haven't saw no proof of that yet. They just saying Jam name because he fresh out and they don't got nobody to blame, gang. First of all, for us to say somebody snitched, that means they guilty. And there's no snitches if they innocent, gang. They're innocent, gang. How the did you, how you gonna snitch on me if I ain't do? Like, for me to sit here and say he snitched on bro, that mean bro guilty. It's me y'all talking to, remember? Remember.
All right.
I mean, Jam's been getting, the short end of the stick when it comes to this.
Jam just got out.
Situation.
Jam just got out. He look like a grown-ass goofy jumping around in these young man videos, and so they gon' tarnish him. Phone them been out here lit, turned, doing whatever they do, and you just fresh out. Like, they don't got nobody to point the finger at, so put it on Jam. We don't know him like that. Some people love Phone them, some people hate them, but they got relationships with him. Either love or hate. They got some, they built some, they know some, they paid attention to him. Jam ain't had enough time out here for them to get that type of bond with Jam. So put it on Jam. Our Jam was snitch.
Jam was released from prison in 2022. Lul Pab was unalive August 19th, 2022. That's only 8 months into the year. So where did Durk and Jam really have time to even be that close with each other? And riddle me this. Everyone's focused on OTF Jam because he told. So him saying he loved Durk has people saying, how can you tell someone that you love them, but yet you're cooperating against them? But let's play devil's advocate here. If Durk cared about Jam, knowing this man just got out of prison from doing 12 years, how can you send him on a mission like this? So if you ask me, neither one of them had real love for each other because once again, they didn't know each other. Now I was going to get into the whole Lamron and O-Block and OTF situation that Traveler Royals pretty much touched on, but we're going to save that for a separate video so we can focus solely on that. So stay tuned for that, y'all, but in the meantime, make sure you like, comment, share, and subscribe. Hit that bell so you're notified every time we drop new content, and remember, as long as you keep on watching, I'm going to keep on dropping. I'm out.